Good to go? Great. Okay, great. Thank you very much. Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Crosby Kemper, the director of the Kansas City Public Library, and it's Independence Day, or almost Independence Day, at the Kansas City Public Library, and a fine day in the neighborhood, though it will be a no fine day in the neighborhood on July 1st, which will be real Independence Day in the library as we go fine-free. The first major library in our region to do that. We're doing it for one essential reason, and that is there is lots of evidence that we know from our own librarians, our youth librarians, children's librarians, and we know from evidence around the country that this will increase children's usage of the library. Fines, in particular for low-income families, are a barrier to using the library, and we want to remove that barrier and encourage everybody to use the library. This will be a relatively small cost to the library, net, not much of a loss to the taxpayers, and we expect a tremendous increase in children's activity. Our lost and damaged fees will remain intact, so you'll still be responsible for bringing the books back, and if not, we will. If you can't get them back or if they're damaged, we'll still be charging you for that, and it will affect your ability to check books out. But we won't be blocking anybody from using the library's other resources, particularly our computers and digital materials. So we're excited to be able to do this. We're really happy that to help us do this are great partners, two longtime patrons of the Kansas City Public Library who have never had overdue books. The mayor-elect of Kansas City, Quinton is here with us today. Alissia, Canady, Councilwoman, and both of it, as I say, have been longtime patrons of the library. Mike English, the executive director of Turn the Page, Mayor James's great program serving children, partner with the library, and Samara Crawford-Herrera of KCPS's Department of Engagement. And this is something we are doing with the Kansas City School District, Kansas City Public School District. The library works very closely with as part of the system, the library system in the school district, and the school district joins us in going fine-free. So I'm going to invite Mayor-elect Lucas up to say a few words, and we'll take some questions afterwards. But I do want to say this is a really great day for the Kansas City Public Library, for our librarians, and for the children in particular who use our library, some of whom are right over there. So, Quinton, congratulations.
Thank you. It is always so exciting to be back at the Kansas City Public Library, particularly this location. When I was growing up, I had the chance to patronize a number of your libraries, this being one of them and one of my favorites. And what I remember from those summers in the early and mid-1990s was that this was a place for respite, for air conditioning, for actually camaraderie, as the kids are showing there. But then one other interesting thing happened along the way. A very kind librarian, when I would come every day, said, you should actually get a library card and take some books home. And it took me a little while to get it and going through the process, and I had to ask my mom about all these issues and IDs and all of that. But we kept working to make sure I had access. And I'm so excited today because fundamentally this is about access for more people, particularly for young people, so that when they look to take that excitement that they learned here home, they have the chance to do it. When they look to invite others to be part of it, they have the chance to do it. And the amazing thing about fines with library books, because I don't know if I have any in adulthood, but I might have had some youthful indiscretions. What I remember is it was this sort of thing where you learn about impediments to your opportunity to do things in life. And I'm so proud today of our library for getting rid of one of those. for creating more opportunities for folks to come in, right, actually get a chance to check out a book, hopefully bring it back, but nevertheless to be able to actually check out without some concern about either what parents, siblings, or others had done. So I want to commend the Kansas City Public Library for your work here. I want to commend a few others that are here today. Turn the Page KC. Mayor James's program has been an outstanding one. It has made a key and strategic difference to Kansas City. And fundamentally, it's addressed one of the issues that I know I campaigned on, Alissia campaigned on, and everyone did, which is core quality of life. And we understand when we talk about quality of life in Kansas City, we're really talking about things like library books for kids, reading skills, opportunities to be somewhere safe, many of the activities that we have sponsored at the library each day. And so as we continue to try to create each day a more equitable, a fairer, a safer Kansas City, know that your efforts here at the public library today relate directly to them. So I say thank you on behalf of 10-year-old me, thank you on behalf of slightly older me, and all the children that are here today. I'm going to break the script because they told me I wasn't supposed to introduce our next speaker, but when you talk about somebody who has represented this city and this particular area well, I can't think of anyone better than Councilwoman Alissia Canady. We come from a similar background, but she has excelled every step of the way, has an amazing life story, and frankly, I encourage her to write a book someday that many of these kids are all checking out. She served the city council well, she serves the prosecutor's office well, and she will continue to serve us for years and decades to come. Councilwoman Alissia Canady.
Good morning, everyone. I am excited to be here to celebrate on this occasion as the Kansas City Public Library has done one more thing to remove barriers to success for our children, and not just our children, but our residents in this community. On the City Council, we do a lot of work of looking at data and analysis and demographics of communities, and we know that the Kansas City Public Library is in a footprint that many of their locations are in severely distressed census tracts. And so the families that they serve oftentimes are overcoming a lot of barriers to their success. So not only removing the barriers of the financial impediments of late fees, but also creating opportunities and access to opportunities. I remember some of my earlier years of getting exposed to computers wasn't only in the classroom, it was at the local libraries where I had access to play some of the games and learn some of the programs and check out books and attend some classes. And so I appreciate all the supplemental services that the Kansas City Public Library has served and provided in this community. But more importantly, I appreciate them for being a resource center. And so while the kids come and gather and they interact and they read books, but they also learn a lot about this city. They learn a lot about socialization. They learn about how big and broad the opportunities are for them that transcend beyond what they see every day. And so as Quinton has referenced, and so has Crosby, that Quinton and I have been avid readers, but I want to remind the children that are here and those that are watching that readers are leaders. And it's so important that you adapt those literacy skills early, and not just literacy in reading books, but also digital literacy. And so we're very fortunate to have here at the Southeast location the Digital Media Lab, which provides a whole nother level of exposure and opportunities of technology for the community to take advantage of, and all the new programs that will come as a result of that, and all the new innovative programs and projects that will be birthed from it as well. But I encourage the community to continue to use these valuable resource centers. I encourage those that may have shied away because of the fees and fines to come back. But as Crosby mentioned, you still have to bring your books back. But I am so excited to be a part of a community that understands the importance of access and be intentional about removing barriers to success and be intentional and deliberate about creating economic opportunities across all parts of the city. So thank you for allowing me to speak, and thank you for Crosby and the leadership team of the Kansas City Public Library System for being forward thinking. And we look for other community partners to continue to do the same in removing barriers in Kansas City. Thank you.
Well, good morning. My name is Mike English, Executive Director of Turn the Page KC. We're a nonprofit organization that was started by Mayor Sly James, and our whole goal is to get kids reading proficiently by the end of third grade. Over the past 6-7 years, there has been no better partner to Turn the Page KC than the Kansas City Public Library. Particularly Crystal Ferris and Crosby Kemper have been amazing partners to work with. We share a similar goal, and that's to get kids excited about reading. Kids that are engaged and excited about reading are much more likely to read proficiently by the end of third grade. And kids that read proficiently by the end of third grade are just much more likely to succeed in life and graduate from high school, which is a key benchmark. The spark that ignites a child's excitement about reading can be a delicate thing. And so any barrier, even if it is a small fine, can really stop a child who may become a proficient or excited reader from doing so. And so I just want to applaud the Kansas City Public Library for doing this. Taking away late fines is going to make a huge difference, and we're going to have many, many more kids not just reading proficiently, but becoming excited about reading and seeing themselves as readers. About 60% of our low-income kids don't have any access to books in their home. That's why we work with the public library to get books in the homes of children. But as we know, the library is really the bedrock of literacy in our community, and so having access to a quality public library like all of our kids do is really, really important. So again, thank you to Crosby and the Kansas City Public Library.
Good morning. My name is Samara Crawford-Herrera. I'm the manager of partnerships, advocacy, and community engagement. I had to think about that for a minute. I'm like, it's Friday. What did I do today? This is exciting. This is not my grandmother's library. Today, our Kansas City Public Library is the source of real change across our community. And sharing the short list with a birth certificate and a passport, possession of a library card is one of the last great vestiges of freedom that society offers its community. And for Kansas City public school students, possessing a library card is as simple as remembering their student ID. And thanks to our partnership with the Kansas City Public Library System, the ability to utilize their student ID as their library card dismantles so many barriers. It removes the stigma that learning can only happen during class time. The card is about opening access to free materials that support everything from homework to summer learning, opportunities that help to retain those critical skills learned during the school year. And so while the notion of equal and equitable access to knowledge and culture is foundational to our democracy, the Kansas City Public Library System offers this promise freely, regardless of social identity. According to the American Library Association, 49% of our teachers say a lack of digital access at home is a major barrier to using technology in instruction. And more than a quarter of U.S. households don't have a computer with internet access. And with this library card with their student ID, KCPS students have unlimited access to library computers and online educational resources. And so as our community anchor institution, this library is committed to being open, safe, and accessible to our community's youth long after many organizations have closed their doors for the day. And our youth, as I know we all believe, are our community's most valuable resource. And the decision to move to a fine-free structure is a strategic decision in human improvement and social change in Kansas City. It's an investment in our children, our family members, and our neighbors. And so KCPS is so proud to call the Kansas City Public Library System our partners as we continue to collaborate on strategies that leverage our community resources for student growth and improvement. Congratulations, Kansas City Public Library. Thank you for this wonderful decision. And on behalf of Dr. Mark T. Bedell and everybody at KCPS, thank you for making this investment in our future.
Happy to take questions. One thing I reminded myself I should have said is the charges for books that are lost or damaged have been reduced substantially as well. So we're doing everything we can to encourage people to use the library and not have fines and fees be a barrier of any kind. And also, Samara mentioned passports. And the Kansas City Public Library, you can get your passport right here, which the revenue that we get from that, by the way, is one of the reasons that we're able to do the going fine-free. So, questions?
Mayor-elect? Yes, Michael.
Yes, sir.
This is Crosby's moment, though.
He's one of our great patrons.
Yes, please.
Do you plan to continue the Mayor's Turn the Page program? What are your thoughts?
First of all, I think very highly of the Turn the Page program. I've had the chance to meet with Mayor James just once since winning the election. I look forward to meeting with him again and talking about ways we can continue to support the program. I haven't made any decisions yet, either on staff or programs that we'll be having, but this is just the type of program I'd like to see continue, and I'll be talking to him to make sure we can figure out a way to make that work.
Do you envision the sort of hands-on presence that he has had with this, where he would go out on a weekly basis and read a book with kids?
As a city councilman, I had the chance to do a decent amount of that. I know Councilwoman Canady did those types of things as well. So first, I fully expect to continue to have a hands-on relationship with educational institutions in our city, including those working with young people. And I look forward to talking to the folks at Turn the Page to see what it looks like for us over the years ahead.
You think you're going to read the kids?
That's the funniest, hard-hitting question ever. It's a very easy one. Short answer is yes, Michael. I will be reading to kids, and if they'll let me right now, I'll go read to several kids just at this moment. We'll create a shot for you.
Any other questions? Yes.
Question for you, but will cutting down on operating costs have any tangible effect on library?
The economics of this are complicated, but actually fairly minor in terms of our budget. We'll save some money on equipment. And we'll save some fairly substantial staff time, but that staff time will just go right back into serving kids. So it won't be a dollar savings in those terms. The dollar amount of fines right now is hovering around $70,000 a year, which is down from much higher numbers in years past, partly because of online books, streaming services, et cetera, and partly because we've always had a philosophy of not allowing fines to prevent families from using the library, so we forgive a lot of fines too. The fundamental economics are pretty simple. This is a very small part of our budget. It's a fairly substantial part of librarian time, and we're gonna lose a little bit of money by going fine-free. We're gonna free up a lot of staff time and we think a lot of enthusiasm from young people and families. Did that answer your question?
Crosby, you said that you're reducing the fine for lost and damaged books. What was it before? I mean,
So Joel, that we're going to $15 for.
$15. Before it's a default price that we said, but before it was $30 for books, materials, and right now for books it tops out at $15. DVDs off the top of my head are at $20. Primarily the books and the children's books are what are cut it in half.
Good. Okay, great. Thank you all very much for being here.